Hello friends, this video on microorganisms, friend and foe, part 16 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So first let us talk about the diseases caused in humans by pathogens. Now some of the common diseases caused by pathogens in human beings are typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, malaria, cholera, measles, chicken pox. So these are some of the very common diseases which are caused by pathogens. Now these are not the only ones. There are plenty of other diseases also which are caused by pathogens. But here we are discussing only these diseases in more detail. So in the next few slides, what we will do is for each of these diseases, we will see which pathogen caused the disease, how the pathogen spreads, or how the infection spreads from one person to another. Now, another important thing to note here is that all of these diseases are infectious diseases, or what you call as communicable diseases. That is, they can be transmitted from one person to another. So if one person has common cold, he's suffering from cold, another person staying in his or her vicinity can also catch cold. That's because it is infectious. It spreads from one person to another, and mostly these diseases caused by pathogens spreads from one person to another, but not necessarily all diseases spread. So let us first talk about typhoid. So the pathogen or the main causative organism for typhoid is a bacteria, and that specific bacteria which causes typhoid is Salmonella typhi. So this is the scientific name of that bacteria. So it is Salmonella typhi, and that is why the name is typhoid, from the word typhi. Pathogen's entry. Now you might be interested to know how this pathogen enters inside our body. So this enters through contaminated food and water. So that is why we are often told to cover the food once it is cooked, not to eat raw fruits and vegetables without washing it properly, to try to boil foods so that it gets rid of all kind of microorganisms that might be present there. Always cover water, always ensure that we drink clean water. If we doubt the water which we drink, we should boil it to ensure that all the germs get killed. So because food and water are the sources through which Salmonella typhi can enter inside our body. So where do they reach inside our body? Once this bacteria reaches body, it directly goes to the small intestine. And you see the same photo which shows that they are partying in the intestine, but the person is actually suffering. So it goes and it affects the small intestine. Primarily it reaches and affects the small intestine. So what are the symptoms which tells that, okay, typhoid has happened to somebody? High fever, headache, weakness, stomachache, constipation, loss of appetite. So you don't feel hungry, you don't feel like eating. So these are some of the symptoms which says that, okay, somebody is being attacked by Salmonella typhi. Now, how can we treat it, or what are the control measures that can be taken? Now, first of all, it has to be diagnosed that, okay, because fever, headache, these can be symptoms of many other diseases. So how do we know that it is typhoid? So for that, a few diagnostic tests need to be done, where blood tests will be done, urine tests will be done, and these blood culture and urine culture, they actually contain traces of the pathogen. So if the trace is found, then it tells you for sure that the person is suffering from typhoid. So first of all, diagnosis has to be done. Once that is done, then it can be treated with a course of antibiotic medication, because the causal organism here is a bacteria, and any infection or any disease which is caused by a bacteria can be treated with antibiotics. Now we'll talk about pneumonia. So here the pathogen is again bacteria. So these are the two bacteria which can cause pneumonia, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. So both of these can cause pneumonia. Now how they enter inside our body? Through contaminated air. So these bacteria, they are present in the air in our surroundings. Now how do they come to the air basically? So let us suppose that if this person is the patient who is suffering from pneumonia, so in that case what happens? The symptoms of the disease is such that he often tends to cough, or he often tends to sneeze. Now, whenever he sneezes or whenever he coughs, what happens is small droplets comes out of his mouth or his nose. Now, if these droplets are being inhaled by some other person, so that can also cause the pathogen to enter inside the body of this person, and that's how he can get the infection. So inhalation of droplets released by an infected person can also cause infection on a different person. So that is the reason why a person suffering from these kind of diseases are asked to stay isolated so that the disease doesn't spread to more number of people. So here the organ of the body or the part of the body which primarily gets affected are the lungs, because lungs are the major organs of our respiratory system. So inhalation, exhalation, they all are part of respiration. So it primarily affects the lungs. Alveoli gets affected. So if you look at the lungs, you have the bronchi. This is the bronchi. Then you have bronchioles, and the bronchioles further branch to form the alveoli. So alveoli are basically those that terminal of the bronchioles through which the actual exchange of gases takes place. So alveoli is that particular part. So what happens is, when this pathogen enters inside the lungs, it affects the alveoli. Once the alveoli gets infected, what happens is proper exchange of gas doesn't take place. So intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide, this cannot take place properly. So as a result, there are breathing problems also associated with it. So some of the symptoms of pneumonia are high fever, chills, cough, short of breath. As I said, breathing problems occur because the alveoli, which are the main sites of gaseous exchange, that has got infected. Headache, bluish lips and fingernails, weakness. So these are some of the symptoms. Now, since it affects the respiratory system, therefore cough and short of breath, these are the symptoms. If you talk about its treatment, so it can be diagnosed with urine test or mucus test or chest x-ray. So one of these, and it can be treated with a course of antibiotic medication, because here also the pathogen is a bacteria. Next we will talk about is common cold. So this is something which is, as the name suggests, it is very common, and it very commonly happens in people. So the main pathogen involved here is a virus. Rhinoviruses are the ones which are responsible for common cold. So how the pathogens enter our body? Through contaminated air or objects. So here also the mode of transmission is quite similar to that of pneumonia. So normally those who have common cold, they generally have flowing nose, they tend to sneeze. So the particles or the viruses might be present in the surroundings. So there are chances that a normal person can inhale the contaminated air and thus can get the infection. So inhalation of droplets released by infected person. Therefore, for somebody who is suffering from common cold, it is advised not to share objects with them like handkerchief or clothes, because there are chances that these viruses might be present in the objects which are present near the infected person. So nose and respiratory passage gets infected. Now in case of pneumonia, the lungs get infected, the alveoli get infected. But in case of common cold, it is just the outer part which gets infected. Mostly this portion, this is the respiratory passage. So the infection lies only in this part. But in case of pneumonia, the infection happens in this portion, inside the lungs, in the alveoli here. So that means pneumonia is a more severe problem because your internal organs are getting infected. So here lungs remain unaffected. So nothing happens to the lungs. So in pneumonia, this is where the infection is. But when you talk about common cold, so the infection is here. Symptoms of common cold: sore throat, cough, headache, nasal congestion, nasal discharge, hoarseness. So what happens during common cold is, since your nasal passage is not clear, so you are not able to breathe properly. So at certain times you feel a blockage within your nose, and sometimes you have a flowing nose, so all the time some fluid is coming out of your nose. So that causes a lot of discomfort, and it also results in headache. Treatment: now this is a viral infection, so antibiotics are not going to help you. So this is normally treated with the simple medicines like painkillers. In case you have a lot of headache, you can take painkiller. Cough syrups for too much of cough, or nasal sprays. If you have completely blocked nose, then nasal sprays also help. So depending upon your condition, doctors advise you one of these medicines. Antibiotics do not help a viral infection. So this is very much important, and this needs to be remembered. Sometimes people think that, okay, falling ill means you have to take antibiotics. Some people have that thought that if you are fallen ill, so just take antibiotics and you will be fine. But that is not the case. Antibiotics are only against bacterial infection. So whether you have to take antibiotic or not, that completely depends on the cause of your disease. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.